I would like to go over the assignment. For this assignment, all you need to do is to retrieve the values from this form and display the results back on the same page, just as I have here. You do not need to persist the values in the form fields. You do not need to make this a sticky form, as I had demonstrated in the video. There may be times when you need to do that, but that is not required for this assignment. In this assignment, we will learn how to process the form and show the results on the same page. This is commonly referred to as a postback. Form elements are commonly used to interact with the database, and sometimes we want to display the data from the database on the same page and sometimes on a different page. Therefore, it is important to have a basic understanding of how PHP works with HTML forms. Now, this form is validated with HTML5 validation. So every form element will be sending a value. So I have filled in the form. Before I submit it, I would like to show you an easy way to look at data that is being sent as a collection. And I am looking at the source code. This is the print_r function. It is a PHP function, and if we pass it the parameter $_post, that is all the collection of the name-value pairs in that form. And because each value is associated with a unique name, this is what's known as an associative array. You may also hear the term key-value pairs as opposed to name-value pairs. That just means that this array is not index-based, such as 0, 1, 2, 3. The records in a database table constitute key-value pairs and can be manipulated similar to an associative array. So when I click the Submit button, here is what I see up here on my dark background. I see the array, and there's my left-hand parenthesis and my right-hand parenthesis, and inside I have these key-value pairs. So I have the name, Teresa, the email, Pelkie, phone, there's the phone number, heard, there's the search engine, comments, there's the thank you. Notice you don't see these values here anymore. That is because when you post a form to itself, those values do not stay in the form. So here is the result of my print_r statement. And I would like to explain, this is the double arrow operator in PHP that is saying that this value belongs to this key. So we have this association between the name and the value here. So looking at the HTML code, here is my form, and I'm using some PHP code to generate the action. This is the and the parameter is PHP_self. And essentially that will return the file name of the web page. So we're dynamically generating that. The HTML special chars function is used to make sure that there is no exploit into this file name. If someone were to try to inject some special characters for malicious purposes, it would not work. This is where I will be displaying all of my output. I have one echo statement and one variable, and I will be building a message that will be displayed here for that variable. So when the page loads, we have not yet submitted the form, and the value for this message does not exist yet. So we need to initialize this variable to an empty string, or we will receive an error message. So here I am initializing my message to an empty string. It can be single quotes or double quotes, it doesn't matter. In the last assignment, we were using $_post and the name of the form element, and we were storing that value in a variable as we see here. However, we can't do that when the page loads because we haven't submitted the form yet. So all of the code to be executed when the form is submitted needs to be inside this if statement. So we are only going to execute this code if this condition is true. And here's my opening curly brace and my closing curly brace, and I have commented that ending delimiter so I can keep track of my code here. Now I'll comment this out because that was just for testing purposes. And now when I submit the form, I will be storing values in these variables. And now here's my message. I have my starting message, and notice I'm using HTML and PHP to format for the web page and also to format the source code. And now I am concatenating or building this string. The concatenation is period equals. So I'm building this method, and I have a little bit of CSS going on to make it red. So now I have filled in my form again, and I will hit submit. And now I see my message here. Notice my HTML break element allowed me to place the different statements on top of each other. If I look at the source code, here I see it is relatively nicely formatted vertically rather than running straight across the page because I inserted the line breaks and the tab character using PHP.